Hola. Sí, 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 mucho trabajo. Igual mañana tengo que trabajar. Hello, Vita. How are you? How are you guys? Qué bueno. Qué bueno. So tonight we are going to talk about astrology. You know, I came up with this idea of doing it like in a live format because I think that yes, you can listen to my maybe Venus in the signs, you know, but it would be more interesting and fun for me to do it while I'm live, so we can exchange. Mm. So we can expand a bit our knowledge and also our perception about us. You know, of course, that we're going to talk about NCT members, NCT 1 to 7 members. And I also added a few Monsta X members. I tried to also add them because they do share the same, some of them, they do share the same Mars. So, you know, I'm going to talk about Mars in certain signs, but there are a lot of idols that share that placement. So actually, like, we can like use that to learn about that, and also to learn about ourselves as well. Hola, Leonor. Hello. Mars is my favorite planet. Second is Moon. Hello, Samara. Um, yes, yes. For me, it's a bit complex, Mars, actually. It's a bit complex because I have it in Pisces. Um, but yeah, you also have to take into consideration the house, and I have it in conjunction to Venus. I have Venus and Mars in Pisces, so somehow there's like a bit of Mars energy in my Venus, you know, even though it's in a very quiet and very calm, non-confrontative sign. Sometimes it can get a bit like, you know, like assertive, and actually I learned that it does influence my Venus a lot. You know, for example, when I like someone, I tend to act a bit like a Venus in Aries. You know, that's why, because I have the Venus and the Mars together in the same sign. So that also you have. I'm going to talk about that because actually one of the members, I think, is Hechan. Hechang has it in Gemini. He has Mars and Venus conjunct in Gemini. So, in that sense, you can take both planets and add the interpretation. That actually the energy, you may not have like a Mars in Aries or a Mars in a passionate and aggressive sign, but actually, since it's in the same sign as Venus, they are like this together, they tend to be a bit more passionate, because everything that Mars touches is going to be tumultuous. Do you have Mars in the first house? Yes, I have it in the first house. Yes. Anybody got a Mars in Aries? No, no, no one. But yes, we are going to talk a bit about this because actually, yes, I'm going to mention that. Do you have it, Samara, in you? Do you have Mars in Aries, or you are just asking? No, it's not passive. It's just that their language is different. Okay. Yes. I'm going to explain a bit what does it mean to have a Mars in Aries. Because it's the perfect example of when a sign is in a domicile, because Aries is ruled by Mars. So when you have a Mars in Aries, it's like a very comfortable placement. It means that you are okay with being assertive and being passionate and showing the Mars traits. So somehow the energy is available for you. The ability to be like, okay, I'm going to go straight to the point. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be passionate. I'm going to be relentless when I have to. No, not like, oh, I'm going to give mixed signals about things. No, I'm going to show you with actions what I can do. There's no passive aggressiveness in there, yes. I scare folks. Yes, they do. I met a few people. They are very intimidating, actually, when you have them close, because sometimes when they are upset, they show it with their bodies. Maybe they are not that good at putting their aggression into words, because actually Aries is not a sign that is going to be a great communicator, even though they are very blunt. When they are upset, they can potentially like use their bodies to show you, or they tend to, like I always mention, they tend to lean forward to you, like to let you know that they are about to punch you if that's necessary. Their body language is very frontal, yes. Sometimes people need to be a little scared. Yes, of course. Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that, especially when you have a Mars in a water sign, except the Scorpio, because Scorpio it's also ruled by Mars. So they do have that scary and an aggressive side if they want to express their anger, because this sign it's also about that, about also connecting with our instincts, connecting with our primal desires, connecting with what we want. Not so much what we love, what we crave, what we attract. No, it's more about how do you go after. Okay, we talk about Venus. Hello, Hope. I'm glad you brought the books. You brought the notebooks. Um, when we were talking about Venus, it was all about attraction, what I find attractive, what others find attractive in me. So Mars is go farther, like go a step farther. Like, how do you go after what you want? Now that you know what you want, or now that you know what you want to attract, how do you go after that? What's your direction? What's your style? What you're going to do with that? You know? Isn't Mars also how you handle certain situations and how you go after someone? Yes. Yes, with actions you show it, yes. My younger brother has Mars in Aries. He's honest and frontal. Yes, even when they don't want to, and you know, Mars in Aries, just like I always tell people, just like any Aries placement, but Mars in Aries, they don't apologize. You know, if we think about an idol that has Mars in Aries, we can think about Stray Kids Hyunjin. You know, that's why when the whole scandal with the accusations and stuff happened, you know, and I was like, oh, I was looking at his birth chart, you know, and he's a Pisces, he has a lot of Virgo placements, he's a very sweet guy. Hello, Rim. But he has Mars in Aries. So Mars in Aries, just like any Aries placement, they tend to react first and then realize what they have done. They actually are action orientated, so they don't think. So maybe, like, I don't know the situation of what happened there, but actually, Mars in Aries people, they tend to have confrontations with people, and actually, it's not about them going to punch someone in the face, it's more about their body language. Maybe they come across too strong, you know, or maybe you have that that body language that people find intimidating or people find scary or people so but it's interesting to see how it affects Pisces, because Pisces, it's a very it's an energy that don't like confrontation. It's an energy that doesn't like confrontation. They are not very aggressive. They always think about others before themselves. They sacrifice for others. But he has Mars in Aries. So it means that if he has to survive or if he has to protect someone that he loves and cherishes very much, he's going to grab that Mars in Aries of him that probably is asleep all the time while he's been a Pisces with the moon in Virgo. So, you know, he also has a moon in Virgo, so definitely he's not going to go and show his passion to or be assertive all the time, because somehow his moon in Virgo also restricts him. And Pisces, being a Pisces sun, also adds confusion to people not wanting to figure you out, but somehow they cannot figure you out because you are not aggressive, but you move too fast. So people were like, you know, and somehow maybe your tone of voice is very sweet, and but somehow I don't know, like grab something and throw it, or you, I don't know, close, slam the door, something like that. It's your body talking, you know. Maybe it's not you as a person, but somehow Mars in Aries do have this moment where they seem to not want being able to control their bodies, and sometimes they are like, I don't know, they just grab force out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? You know, it is a bit frightening, yes, to see a Pisces like that, and even it scares them as well, because Pisces is always thinking about the others. They are very humanitarian in that sense. So that's why Pisces is not violent at all. They don't like violence. But you know, Mars in Aries, that's why to people that have Aries placement or Mars in Aries, I always recommend these people to do a lot of exercise. Like work with your body, train your body, move your body, you know, get out of your system all that energy that you have in your body. Because actually that energy being built up inside, and you not wanting to be aggressive or not wanting to show it or use it, is going to actually boil inside of you, and it's going to hurt you. And actually a lot of people with Mars in Aries that don't like confrontations, they tend to get attacked by others, you know, because somehow the Aries Martian energy somehow is like, it's like, okay, you don't want to express it yourself. I'm going to bring you situations of a lot of aggression towards you so you can defend yourself because you have it in you. What the other brings you, the aggressive of the others, is a reflection of a sort of that aggressive pulsion in you that you are not like letting it be. You are not letting it express. You are not. You are holding it in because you're like, oh no, this is not the right time, the right moment. You know. I'm sorry. I look like I'm going to attack you, but yeah, but sometimes I had a friend that was like that. For example, she would tell me a story about certain things that annoyed her, and she would choose, like, use her body to show it to me. And I was like, please be careful. I don't want you to punch me or like to miscalculate your movement and somehow slap me in the face, because she was so angry that she would like get agitated and she would show me with her hands and I was like, oh my god, I was like that all the time. Oh, thank you, Rin, for being here. Interest Mars placed in us, got sure how he turned. True, but when a Pisces got really angry, my god, run. Isn't biologically the imaginary sexual aroused? Yes, yes, Pita, it is. Actually, this Mars, the placement is about also sex drive. Sex drive, aggression, desire, being competitive, being courageous, being passionate. That's why I always tell people that maybe if you do not have the chance to express your sexual desires, you should like invest it in being competitive. Use your body, but you have to drain that energy. You cannot keep it in because that energy has a purpose, and that purpose is to drive you to be a sort of hunter, be a sort of like that very instinctive and animal side of all of us. So it needs to be expressed. It cannot be like contained. It shouldn't be contained. Of course, like that's why we have it in different signs, because there are different ways of expressing Mars. We were talking about actually mentioning Aries, because yes, actually Mars in Aries is in its domicile, so it's the best sign to be associated with Mars. Mars is comfortable in Aries. This is a card of my astrological deck. This is a card that represents Mars. This is the captain. And I don't know if maybe, I think that this is Napoleon. I don't know, I haven't checked, but I think that this is Napoleon. But actually, yes, it's about being the captain, the leader of your life, connecting with your inner warrior, somehow like, okay, like what are you going to do with what you have? Hi, Spirit. Like, okay, you have your eyes on the goal, like, go. Like, how are you going to express it? Yes, Mars rule Aries, yes. Yes. Aries and Scorpio. We have here the image of Saint George. That is the combination of Aries and Scorpio. So the warrior. The warrior. So this is all about going to battle, being brave, being the initiator. If you feel threatened somehow, or if you feel like your loved ones are being threatened, this is how a Mars in Aries or Mars in Scorpio are going to go. They're going to battle for the people they love or to protect themselves. They're always in survival mode. They're always in survival mode. They're always ready, just in case. They're always ready. Because it's a very masculine energy. It's the masculine side in us. It needs to get out. it needs to be released. You know, it needs to be like this. You know, it's not for you to hold it in. No, it's for you to let it out. Like go. This is like the inner warrior, the drive, the competitiveness, the survival mode. Like if you feel like someone is attacking you or someone is trying to hurt you, how are you going to react to that? Are you going to fight them? Threaten them? Or are you going to sit around, wait for the drama to be over? There's no right or wrong, of course. These are archetypes, you know, there's no right or wrong. You know, you can express Aries the way you want to. That's why are different styles, different energies. You know, that's the thing. But it's about actually you deciding what kind of a style are you going to use to go after what you want, to conquer what you want. This is the conqueror. This is about you taking what is yours or protecting what is yours. And Mars in Aries and Mars in Scorpio, they go out very differently, but they are very passionate about protecting what is theirs. And they have no trouble in showing how strong they are with their bodies. They will throw their bodies at you. They will not be like, oh, okay, let's have a talk. No. No talk, just action. Maybe they will regret it later, but you know, this is the energy. This is when it is in Aries or it is in Mars. Does Mars talk about our physical body too? No. Our physical body, no. No, the physical, it's about the sun and the sun and the rising, probably. The first house, the house of the external expression. Mars is more about the stamina, you know, probably, yes, it has to do, no, because it's about like, okay, thank you, Hope. Except if it is in the, if it is in the rising, in the ascendant, probably. But the Mars placement is not about physical attributes. It's more like an expression, but it's not. Yes, it's about our body language, probably, but it's more about our strengths. You know, our strengths, our passion, our instinctive side. But if it is in the first house, if Mars is in the first house, actually what it's telling you is that you could potentially have Aries, like an Aries rising, for example, being an Aries rising, because Mars is in the first house. So it adds a bit of fire to your appearance. Yes, a bit more of bluntness, you know, a bit more of masculinity, probably, you know, you being sensed or perceived as masculine. It doesn't matter what sign it is, like if we're talking about the impact of the planet in the first house. That the house is about appearance, yes, it's about the self. And also Mars, it's also a planet that it's about self-affirmation. So if it is in the first house, it's very, or Mars in Aries, it's very beneficial because it's about you being a warrior. Like that's the reality, guys. Maybe now we are in a different times, but actually to be a warrior in medieval times, or maybe in longer time, like being able to go to war, to you know to do what you have to do to fight, and to have that instinct, like, okay, I'm in danger, I have to protect myself, like, um, maybe back then it was necessary for you to activate your Mars. Maybe now it's a bit more like, oh no, because violence and being probably too sexual, it's something that, yes, we talk about that more freely, but there's a part of like, oh, I don't think I do it for survival necessarily. If I'm remembering correctly, G-Dragon has Mars in Aries. Oh, I always thought Mars in Leo would be so fun to hang out with. Yeah, it's very different actually. We will get there. We will get there because we will start with the NCT 1 to 7 members, and we are going to talk about their energies together. So the first one that I have here, and I also am going to mention a Monsta X also member if I have them here, so you can visualize them too if you are an citizen, or if you are a Monbebe, if you want to like think about that idol and actually share your point of view. Wonder how different. I read about it, so I was a little confused because there are two concerns Mars about our body. Yes, yes, Mariana. Yes, it's just that it's like I mentioned with the example of my friend. The example that I gave about my friend and how she would always use her body to express how angry she was or frustrated, because they tend to get really frustrated pretty easily, and they get so caught up in the narrative of, it's not that they are fighting that person, but them remembering it, somehow they get so, like, their body starts to, I don't know, just fume, I don't know, to somehow explode. And they are like, like they show you with their hands, they make these quick movements that maybe if you are a bit like delicate like myself, I'm like, don't punch me, please. Like, I'm not the person who hurt you, so please don't, But this is why, I always tell people, my dad is an Aries, and he always like, he doesn't punch people in the face, but he's always like moving his hands like this in front of your face, and you always have to restrict him and being like, okay, if you want to express either how excited you are or how angry you are about something, please keep the hands to yourself, because you are going to hurt me. This is something about Aries placements, especially in Mars, that is all about, the accumulation of passions, that when they get really agitated, they are very expressive, and they sometimes get very physical. And you are like, like, please keep distance. Like, yes, it's like you have to restrict them, like, yes, I understand you're upset, but please put your heads down, like, or please don't touch anything, because they could break it eventually. They could destroy things out of, like I said, either excitement, because they are really excited telling you something, or they get really like, you know, like, but yes, it's, and also, Aries is very blunt. Aries, it's very like I always, they act first and react later. They do not reflect. This is why they get involved in a lot of misunderstandings, because they do not regulate their passions. What they feel in the now is what they feel, and you ever get in the way of an angry Aries or Aries placement ever, because they are going to punch you, they are going to hurt you, then they are going to regret it, but they are going to, My mom is an Aries moon, and she kind of uses harsh word in temper. Yes, they are like, You know, sometimes you are like, oh my God, like, yes, like that the uses of words, you know, they also are very loud, or they are very aggressive, yes, or they tend to curse a lot. They tend to curse a lot. You cannot like, you cannot ask them to be uh, diplomats, you know, or no, they tend to curse a lot, and they don't care where they are. They just tell you like, yes, yes, they, yes. It's just that, yes, that's one thing that I always talk to you about Aries, you know, and especially when we think about the idols that have Aries placement. They are not mean, you know, they are not mean people. Sometimes Aries placement give this person this sort of harshness in their expression, their body language also. It's like I always tell you, they seem to be always angry at something. So they are intimidating. So sometimes they can get a reputation of being problematic. And actually, they are not problematic. It's just that they don't, they go straight to the issue. So if you're someone that you want to keep things balanced, fair, and everyone happy, you probably are going to feel a bit uncomfortable with an Aries person around, you know, or an Aries moon, an Aries Mars. You're going to feel a bit uncomfortable. Actually, Aries people, they do not have much friends or real friends, you know. They actually have families that just because they are related, they have to put up with them. But actually, like Aries is not that popular, you know, even though they are very skillful and they have a great heart, because they are very loving people. They, if they love you, they will love you for, I wouldn't say like forever, but they will give you 120% of their passionate self. But they tend to get themselves into situations when people don't like the way they are. They don't like, they feel uncomfortable with their need to always be fighting. You know, sometimes it's a bit draining that they always have an argument with someone, or even waiting in line for them is like, you know, I don't know, like World War III or something. You know, they seem to, and they are very competitive. You tell them something and they done it first. You know, they always have the need to conquer. They have the need to remind you that they are the first ones, or that they are actually, like, for example, if they want to compete with you and they want to like to win and actually take your place, for example, they will let you know that they are coming after you, you know. I enjoy Aries energy. I don't like passive aggressive people, and Aries are far from passive. It's just that, but not gonna lie, sometimes their energy. Yes, that's the word actually. Overwhelming. Yes, they are too much sometimes. They even are too much for themselves. Their bodies never rest. Their bodies are always on the move. Even when they are sleeping, they are like they sleep. They do a lot of talking in their sleep. They tend to be, I don't know how you say it, sonambulism, when they go around while they are still asleep. They have that. They have these shakes in their bodies while they are sleeping, because they have so much energy that for them to put their body to rest, it's, they are very nervous, very nervous. So yes, a lot of herbal teas, a lot of, give them a lot of like chamomile tea, you know, like a lot of herbs that can calm their nerves, because they are very nervous. Sleepwalking, sleepwalking, yes. Okay, guys, let's start with NCT 1 to 7 members. I actually wrote down the first one is going to be Tail. Tail. His Mars is in Taurus, and also Monsta X Shonu has Mars in Taurus as well. So yes, we moved on from Mars on in Aries. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, but for other fire signs, it's funnier. You know, it's funnier because somehow you do find a sort of hobby or activity that resonates with you, and you can like express that energy. But for Aries, it's all about being a warrior 24/7. So they have to fulfill the role to be the warrior, to always be fighting people, always, always. Like, you know, so if for you it's overwhelming, to be them is also overwhelming. Yes, they definitely should do. Yes, they must do. They have to do it. Yes, they have to. They have to do martial arts, definitely. Mm. Or workout. Workout. I kind of don't like Mars in Sagittarius. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mars, yes, they argue, yes, because they are like Beta, they are like and I'm going to talk about that because actually Utah has a Mars in Sagittarius. So, you know, yes, because Sagittarius is a sort of the philosopher of the zodiac. They have a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of potentials to be the teachers. You know, they have a lot of knowledge. Their knowledge is very expansive, so they know a little bit about everything. So they always have an opinion about something. So yes, how they're going to show their anger or their aggressive side is that they are going to try to refute a lot of theories, a lot of things that had been proven. You know, actually, Sagittarius tends to switch from religion to religion, to dogma from dogma in a week, because that's their need. They are the eternal seeker. So maybe today they are a believer of this sort of religion or dogma, and they change. Hmm. Yes, they love to be philosophical. Exactly. It's just that when you have it in Mars, it's like, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, like decide, you know, what do you want to do? What do you believe in? Or let me believe what I want to believe. No, they always like, for example, if you're like, oh, I believe in astrology, they start telling you the story. I haven't, actually, he's a Sagittarius, but I have my uncle that he's a Sagittarius, and I believe probably his Mars is also in there, and he would tell me the story of why astrology was made, and I was like, you know, like, I love to get to know new things. You know, I have Jupiter in the first house, so I love to learn. But I was like, please, can you just leave me believing what I want to believe? Like, you know, like, and to ask them for knowledge or an opinion is like they, oh my, yes. Yes, you change all the, yes, because they are the eternal seeker. They are the eternal seeker. They are always like finding a sort of belief and somehow challenging that belief. And I do that myself. Since I have Jupiter in the first house, I do that myself. Like I'm sure that you notice, guys. Like I always believed in astrology, tarot, and stuff. But I also have a degree in counseling. So, you know, for me, it's not just about like believing in the new age or spiritual things. For me, critical thinking is also very necessary. So if someday, I don't know, a professional or a philosopher or an archaeologist or an historian comes and tell me the story of, and actually like denies the existence of certain things that probably I believed that they were real, I always open my mind and listen to them. And if I have to change my beliefs, I do it, because I don't want to be that kind of person that is like, like narrow-minded. Like me believing that what I believe in is the only thing that exists. Like I always tell you, I do not believe in magical thinking, although I had very spiritual circumstances in my life. I also choose to believe that we should go to science or to facts, actually, as much as we can. Because if we only believe in spirituality and energies and stuff, somehow we are like in a bubble. And I think that I want to have someone in my life to be able to wake me up from that illusion or that bubble if it's necessary. Because I don't want to be blinded, or I don't want to be naive. I want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can. I don't want to be just guided to a certain dogma, a certain like, oh no, because this book says that no, no, no. I met a lot of people like that through my life, throughout all my life. And I always was like, no, like there must be something else. Like I cannot, I cannot. Yes, practicality. Exactly, guys. And I noticed that, actually I was talking about this today, that I went to a lot of yoga retreats, and all of a sudden, because being spiritual, it's trendy, and wearing crystals is trending. Somehow people that don't have any kind of like studies and stuff, start talking about certain things that, in the name of spirituality and well-being and everything, yes, guys, of course, you can, if you change your mindset to positivity, you can do better, yes. But if you're suffering from anxiety and other mental health issues, please go see a therapist. Please go see a psychologist. Don't just follow what an influencer tells you about their history with mental health issues. Because they are, think about this, think about the word influencer. The word tells you everything. Influencer. They influenced you. So sometimes, yes, I understand that people love to follow others because they feel like they connect. But please open your eyes to your perception, to your own experience. Don't live your life through someone else's story, because you are your only person. There's no one like you. That's me, love learning more about history. Yes, always listen to their opinions, even if I don't agree. Exactly, that's a key also. That's a key. Mom is the opposite. It's why we both has. She has me challenging ideas of social norms. Yes, exactly, Rim. I also love it, and that's something that I was like, I felt really proud of myself, when I started to be more open and listening to people that don't think the same, that don't support or think the same way that I do. I was like, oh, like when I started to resist myself from hearing other people's perspective, it's like a window opened of my perception. And I was like, wow, that person that thinks differently to me is also teaching me something. So instead of being pointing with the finger, you're right, you're wrong, You know, it's about like, okay, I'm listening to you and I'm noticing that you don't agree with me, but I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep listening to you. Because maybe what you are saying, I don't agree, but maybe we can learn from each other. You know, not being, you know, dismissive and being like, oh, no, no, you know. That's why I always tell people, yes, I do not do shipping readings, I do not support shipping, but somehow we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the people that does it. And even with people that are toxic, we don't know what they are going through, that they have the need to create what they create, to fantasize with what they fantasize, to, because there's a reason why they have so many followers. There's a reason, like you just have to observe and not make an opinion out of it. You know, not judge. Do not judge. You know, like, oh no, this is right, this is wrong. No, because definitely they do it because they have the need to do it. There's something in them that encourages them and a lot of people that follow them to actually consume that. So, you know, yes, we don't agree, I don't agree, but maybe that practice or that way of thinking is somehow helping them from a lot of hardships that they're going through. So, you know, let's be respectful. Let's be. Wish my mom would open up and listen to others, but I gave up, especially since she's a Leo and we are two fire signs. Biting her, it's not fun. Yes. Yes. It's just that it's harrowing because you're also, if I'm not mistaken, your moon is also in Cancer. So there's a lot of like when you are a moon in Cancer, there's a lot of lessons and a lot of challenges in your relationship with your mother. So a lot of moon in Cancer people, they have very traumatic experiences with their mothers not being that nurturing or that sweet. You know, moon in Cancer, they need that emotional connection. They need that. Moon is in Libra. Okay. But her moon is in Aries. Your rising is Cancer. Yeah, so if you have rising in Cancer, you know, you're probably your purpose with that energy or what that rising wants you to learn is to be your own mother. To be a mother to yourself. That's actually very beautiful. Because I actually have my Capricorn rising, and it's the same because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the father. So somehow I have to become not been looking at my dad or my father and being like, oh, you should have done this for me. You should have been this sort of a figure for me. No, like, okay, letting go of my expectation of wanting that bond to be a certain way. Like, okay, being my own father, being a father to myself. Yeah, my mom also was a moon in Aries. No, I haven't eaten yet, Mariana. I'm going to wait till the live is over. I love my mom, but she's not the most nurturing person. Yes. You know, my mom also had her moon in Aries, and she was a Scorpio. She was a Scorpio with the moon in Aries. But me as a moon in Scorpio, I never was able. Actually, I always consider myself more Scorpio than her, because she didn't talk about feelings. You know, she would probably like want me to get over things really quickly, or just be very impatient if I would get emotional about something. She would always like criticize me, not criticize me, but she would make these small opinions or comments about me not being able to let go of things. And for a child to listen to your mother saying that, even though, you know, I'm a Scorpio, so probably she did say this once to me, and it stuck in my mind until this day. Like, why cannot be like just move on? Just like that. Like, just fix yourself. Like, like get up and go. And don't pay attention to what hurt you, or what you actually are hurt or by. And I was like, I felt very misunderstood in my emotional need of finding this sort of like, oh, my mother should like allow me to express my vulnerability. And with her, I was like, she was so cold or detached, or she would fear her own emotions as well. So she was like, trying to just move on, like don't pay attention to actually to feelings. And actually, my grandmother that used to live with us, she also was a Scorpio. She was my dad's mother. She used to live with us. She was like always present in my life. And she was also very tough, like very cold, very bossy, very like manipulative. But not emotional. I didn't see them as emotional. I saw them like, like I mentioned about Mars, and Mars in Scorpio, about this need of them as Scorpio suns to somehow survive. Like you as a woman in that family or in that clan or in that circle, you have to survive. So in order for you to survive, you have to be cold. You have to be like, no, don't show your weaknesses. And me as a Moon Scorpio, like for me, yes, I could do it, but sometimes maybe I did want it to cry, or just be vulnerable, and they wouldn't let me express that. They would be like, no, let it go. And I was like, I cannot let it go. It's yes. Oh man, saying that's why my mom is interesting. Is she both harsh, cold, yes, overly emotional, and lashes out a lot. Yeah, that's something, Rim, that I noticed about my mom, that I used to tell her that, because I've always been very perceptive as a child, especially because, me, Moon is Scorpio, my mom is a Scorpio, so there was like this silent uh, sort of connection. Like I would be near her, and she was very quiet. She wasn't a person that she would talk about how her feelings. But I was always afraid of her. I was always scared of her. I knew she would. I could feel it in her. I don't know, energetic field, that I was like, she is angry about something. Like she is going to lash out at something. Oh, and she wouldn't. But I always felt that tension in the air, that even though she wasn't angry at me, but I knew she was angry about something. And she was like this sort of volcano that I was expecting that she would explode at some point, but she never did. But I was afraid of that. Like, not afraid, I was on alarm. I was like, so that's why I always well behaved. I always was like doing my thing. She didn't have to waste her time like telling me what to do. I would just go and do my thing, because I was like, this woman has a lot of anger inside of her. And I don't know why, because she wasn't aggressive, but I felt it in her especially when she was really quiet, like I was like, oh my God, she's, I don't know. Oh, wow. Yes, there's always tension. Yes, like you know it, and you're like, you know it. I always was like, maybe it's because I don't know. I'm very like when you're a bit paranoid. I don't know. But I was like, why if I never saw like, for example, I never witnessed like an aggressive like that in my house, especially from my mom. But I was like, this woman is a bomb. She's going to make click one day, and she's going to destroy us all. I don't know why. I always felt like that. And when she was older, when I was older, actually, I used to tell her that, and she would always laugh at me like that. Like, why would you be afraid of me if I never said anything to you? But I just felt it. Like I knew I wasn't the reason that why she was so angry, but I knew that there was some anger in her that maybe she didn't allow herself to express. Were you sensing all the emotions she held in? Yes, yes, yes. She's angry and closed off. Yes, it seems like the angrier they are, the more closed off. Yes, I think so. Oh, I think so, Hope. Actually, when she was diagnosed with cancer, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, I actually I somehow knew what it was about. Like, not knew it in a medical sense, but I was like, yes, it's because of all those emotions that she didn't express back then. All the anger, all the frustration. Yes, they all have. Yes, a spirit. Yes. It's just that sometimes for a child, it's very, we don't understand, it seems like we know something is going on, you know, but somehow we don't understand why. Actually, because you are like, okay, maybe if I witnessed some violence, I would be like, yes, I saw this and this and this and this. But when you become an adult and you are somehow raised with that fear of someone actually being aggressive and not expressing it, you become very anxious yourself as an adult, you know. Mm. Yes, yes. And that's why, and actually that's where the people pleasing actually starts, because somehow for you to avoid people getting angry at you, you start doing a lot of favors. You're always pleasant, you always well behave, you're always on time, because you don't want people to be upset at you. There's something about other people's anger that scares you and intimidates you, because you don't know how to handle that, because maybe if you went through that, you will be like, oh, okay, I have to act like this. But in my house, for example, since there was a lot of Scorpio female energy, there was this very silent treatment, like, okay, I'm angry at you, but I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm angry at you, but I'm not going to tell you to your face what I'm thinking. Like, I'm going to wait for the right moment and make a plan about destroying your life very slowly and painfully. So there was like this sort of rivalry, but it was very silent. So for a child, especially if you are very like intuitive, you kind of sense that there's something going on, but you don't know where it comes from. You don't know what generates it, and somehow it drives you crazy. Because you're like, okay, I know a bomb is about to explode, but I don't know where. Where is it coming from? Is it my mom? Is it my uncle? Is it my aunt? Like, you don't know. Yes. please, my Libra moon fears the anger and conflict so much. Yes, me yes, Pisces Mars the same. Yes, I get along well with my mother because her Venus is conjunct my. Oh, great! She has her temper like anyone. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. I loved my mom. Actually, um, kept to herself, and I assume she was affected by. Yes. Actually, a Gemini to keep to herself, it must have been really tough. Yes, yes. I think that we all need to be able to express ourselves. I always tell people, when you are in a place where you feel like you cannot be yourself, please, like, try to find another. I'm not saying like move out, because it's not easy. Life is not easy. But try to surround yourself in places or communities that allow you, even, I don't know, half an hour a day, to be yourself and not to feel guilty for being yourself. Because sometimes, like I always tell you, if you didn't get a certain, like, something that you needed, okay, go and find it somewhere else. you know. So yes, guys, let's move on to NCT members, because I'm going to be here forever if not. Okay, let's move on to Tail. Tail is a Mars in Taurus, just like Monsta X Shonu. So I'm going to show you here. Tail, we know Tail is a Gemini, but his Mars is in Taurus. So you can picture this and this. I'm sorry, if I had a fancy camera, I would probably put like slides, and pictures, but I do not have it, so I'm doing it by hand. So to somehow like picture and give you an image so you can like connect with the energy, this is what Tail, or anyone who has a Venus, Mars, I don't know what this is with Venus, I cannot let it go. Mars in Taurus would be like. These cards are astrologicals. They are for, well, some people use them for divinatory uses. I actually use them to show it in my classes. And Shonu has it as well. So Mars in Aries, Mars in Taurus is like this. Is the warrior in us, but how does the warrior goes after what they want? Through beauty. Beauty, calmness, being comfortable, being very abundant, very in their element. Do you notice how this is something that Mars in Taurus, they do a lot. They do love to be sitting somewhere, laying down somewhere. You know how she is like sitting on this coffer? This is Mars in Taurus. This is Tails. There's this sense of, okay, I'm going to go after what I want, but at my own pace. And at the same time, I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to, look at her, the smile in her face. She's really comfortable. She's not in a hurry. She's not fighting people. She actually, in this coffer, actually, she has a lot of material gain in here. That's why she's sitting on it. Because this is my treasure. This is where I keep my things. And this is what I protect. So probably if you want to see like a Mars in Taurus get upset and get angry, it's about touching their stuff. Touching their things, wanting to take away their possessions, their precious possessions. This is Mars in Taurus. Like, okay, like, yes, I have to be aggressive here. Like, okay, I will take my time. Like, I will make myself comfortable in the idea of going after what I want. I will go at my pace. I will enjoy the view. I will have fun, I will watch the flowers, because I trust the cycles of life. I trust that I am abundance. Actually, these people are very abundant because they enjoy the action. Their action is to enjoy themselves. It's not to go and be like on someone's face and be like, I am the best. No, they are like very like, very Venusian, like, oh, and they don't move around that much actually. This is their power. Their power is that there's no need for this Mars to be moving around fast to actually get to their objective or their goals. They go very slow, very gentle, and they always have this very beautiful smile or smiley eyes. You know that they probably are not very expressive, but their face looks like they are in a spa, at a spa. They just got out of the shower, they wore their perfect perfume, they are wearing comfortable clothes, they are wearing luxury brands, so they are like, they're like, this is Mars in Taurus. While a lot of people get all agitated, and Mars in Taurus is like, I'm taking my time. And I'm making sure I look good also in that. I'm not going to go just to work just like that. I'm going to also look beautiful. That's so tailing. Yes, that's so. I do try to flirt through things. Yes. When Shona was calling for missing expressive snacks in the cheap ones. Yes, tail seems so calm. Actually, this is something that a lot of Taurus energy. This is yes, Rim, exactly. For me, and actually, Mariana mentioned about body types or body shapes, and actually, tail's body complexion, it does remind me of Taurus energy. Because yes, he's short, but he's very built, and there's something like, very stable in his body, like you're not going to move him just like that. They tend to have broad shoulders, be a bit like not heavy, not fat or anything, just be strong, especially in the shoulders, be very wide, be, you know, um, yes, they take their time. There's something about Taurus placements, especially if you watched, for example, Moon in Taurus, also people, they have this expression. They have this expression of like, maybe there's chaos going on, maybe there's some house is burning, there's something happening, like the apocalypse is happening, and they're like, which I'm going to be honest, that face annoys me so much. That's one thing that I definitely, there's something about Taurus energy that I'm like, how can you be so calm in this situation? But this is their power. This is their power, because when the most cardinal signs, we are like, we have to take action, we have to do something, we have to plan something. They're like, oh yes, I think I'm going to take a nap, and I'm going to drink a champagne, and I'm going to have a bubble bath, and I'm going to order food, and then I'm going to think if I want to go and do what I have to do. It's all about enjoying. It's all about, yes. They look so cool. Yes. Yes. They're watching the members fight. Yes, he's like untouchable. You cannot move him. Sometimes you are like, my God, like what's going on with you? Like why? And they are very quiet actually. Mars in Taurus people, they are like sitting there like, Like you're like, come on, wake up. Like, I don't know why they always look sleepy. They always look like they just they got up of nap or napping or something, or they always look like they want to take a nap, but they look flawless. That's one thing that I'm going to be. They look flawless. Shonu minding his own business most time, but then having to break up the fight, otherwise they won't be able to work ahead. Yes, because he's the leader. Yes. He doesn't have the time to actually, but probably he is the most calm out of all of them. He's like, not saying that calm, but probably there's a sense of like, like that posture, like be sitting here, like, okay, like, because they're very jealous of their possessions. And this includes relationships as well. And Mars in Taurus is not going to let you like take away what is theirs or what is precious to them. Being so chill sounds, yes. Taurus men really are just beautiful. Yes, they are more beautiful than some females, actually. Yes. And there was something that I noticed that I believe that it was Hechan, because we know that Hechan is Tail's #1 fan. So that boy definitely loves Tail. And he was like, oh no, it wasn't Hechan. Sorry, it wasn't Hechan. It was Johnny. Johnny was like, I for one day I wish I could have Tail's body, because he seems so huggable. Like people, like you want to hug him, because there's something about his body that you are like want to hug him and cuddle with him, because he seems very like comfortable to hug. And he was like, I wish, because I want people to hug me, but because of his tall and and I was like, that's very Taurus, actually. And actually the presenter, I believe it was a host, everyone were like going to prove holding, like hugging Tail, to see what it felt like. And everyone were like, oh yes, it feels really nice to hold him. Actually, it feels like as if you're holding a teddy bear or something like that. It feels warm. It feels like, oh, it's so comfortable to hold you or to be in your arms. They are, haha, Tae Young cannot keep a share of her life. That reminds me of Kenneth, if he gets fun, not just physics, but everything. Yes, exactly. William, of SF9 to find Taurus, exactly. Yes, exactly. William, did you notice his face? It's like I always tell you, like this. This is the trademark of Taurus energy. Like they just come and enter a room and they are like they don't say anything. They're just there, sitting there, and they just steal all the glances. Like they are the masters of seductions without doing much. Okay, let's move on to Johnny. Now that we were talking about Johnny, Johnny is a Mars in Leo. Someone was mentioning Mars in Leo. And from Monsta X, we have Juhyun. Oh no, Huhyun. How do I pronounce this? Huhyun. Yes, Huni. Huhyun. The rapper. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it. Okay, Mars in Leo. The master of seduction. No, not Hyungwon. Yes, Honey. Yes, I'm going to refer to him like Honey. Yes, Honey, because it's easier for me actually. I know it's Juhuni, I guess. I think I heard people calling it, but for me it's hard with my accent. It's hard, so I'm going to yes. Um, Johnny and Honey or Huni, they are all, the both of them are Mars in Leo. So these are the warriors. Leo energy, the entertainer. Juhyun. Okay. This is how they fight. This is how they fight. They put themselves in the spotlight. They put themselves in the first place. They are loud. They are entertainers at heart. So probably they are very funny. They have like the most like vibrant, you see, vibrant gold, orange kind of energy. They are like, come on, like, you want to fight me? They can be such a good teasers as well. Like, they actually, like, they would love to fight people actually, like, but they would do it like, oh, I am so precious that I am taking my time to fight you. You know, like, they always make sure to go with the glam, you know, to always be in this sort of a star quality, you know, this need of, okay, like, I'm going to fight you so I can get attention. You know, so I don't mind going to the battle if I can come back as a winner and actually be the best. Yes. This is the Mars in Leo, you know, like, they just have this very exuberant energy, you know. They are actually very good at probably role playing, you know, like, probably they just love to make people laugh, to make people entertain. They're not shy at all, you know. If they have to go in the first place, if they have to go up front, they will not hesitate. I saw Johnny argue with Doyon. It was hilarious. He just put the pressure, even though he was joking. Yes, they love it. They love it. And they are so fast, so fast. Like, everything that they say, of course, it has the aggressiveness and the, 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 the fiery side of being a fire sign. So they definitely, if they like, they want to conquer you, they are very good at competitions. So for them, everything is a competition, and everything is an opportunity to be in the spotlight, you know, to let you know that they are the best. But they also are great entertainers. It's just that they are just like any Leo placements. They are very, like, over the top. They are very exaggerated, grand gestures, music, glitters, fashion shows, a lot of lights, you know, a lot of, like, you know, if they pick an accessory or if they pick something, it's probably going to be like the best of the best. And they just want to look good, and actually they love to make people laugh also. They are entertainers. They love to make people laugh, actually. If you laugh at their jokes, you know, they feel so good inside. They're like, oh, yes, I did it right. You know, they feel really proud of that, actually. I love seeing complimented Leos. Their faces just light up. Yes, because they're like children as well. Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, Leos are the center of attention always. About that with the Scorpio and the energy. He might be like, don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, it's just that they are, you know, Leo is very creative. You know, we're talking about Leo energy. And Mars in Leo is very creative. So they can actually be great actors. They have the potential to be great actors because they have, like, they can change into character, and actually they can have their own, like, I don't know how you call this in English, but it's like having, how do you call it when you have another persona that is fictional, but is like alter ego? Is it an alter ego? Mars in Leo people can have that. You know, like, probably having, like, them turning their I don't know, their accent, their body language, the way they move, and actually calling themselves, like, putting a name to the to the other entity, you know, the other part of them. They are like clowns. They love to be funny. They are very resourceful at the same time. They know how to keep people watching them. You know, like everything they do, they get attention. They get attention. Alter ego, yes, they get attention. They love it. They love it. I think that this is something that they also adapt. You know, they adapt to whatever activity you have to do. Okay, we have to be competitive. Okay, you know, we have to be like, they are very proud of themselves and everything that belongs to them. You know, so they have like very high visions about who they are, and if they defend a cause, for example, they are very proud of what they defend or what they stand for, you know. Yes, it's very, because they have an ego. Yes, they have an ego, because actually what they have is that they can actually get really irritated if they don't have the attention that they crave. And actually, if, for example, you're not paying attention to them, okay, they're going to go and find another crowd or another viewer, another spectator. They always need like a sort of like follower, you know, like someone that doesn't mind to remind them how special they are, you know. And they can definitely put a show. They can definitely put a show anywhere, you know. This is why, if the person that has this Mars in Leo is an introvert, this energy is something that they have, is a potential, you know. I actually met someone that had Mars in Leo, and he wasn't very confident in himself, and I was like, oh, maybe you should, like, you know, use this energy that is available for you. This is a part of you that you have. You have a Mars in Leo, so you have the potential. Actually, this person, I believe he had like this I don't remember, that is this fear of being in public or fear of being in front of a large crowd. You know, if he had to talk or if he had to like present himself, he was very like anxious about it. And I was like, you have to work, because you have Mars in Leo. So to be an entertainer, to be the one that, you know, that opens their aura to somehow entertain people, like, you can do it. You can shine. You have to trust that you have the shine, you know. And this is great for entertainers as well. Mars in Leo celebrities seem the most likely to date fans, since the fans, yes, exactly. But members revealed that whenever a new trainee enters starships, Juhun would take them to their room and make them listen to his soft voice. Yes, yes, yes. Is this what I can remember that I was something? Yes, yes, Rim. Exactly. Exactly. You probably tend to be a bit repetitive when you have to, when you tell your stories. Like, for example, when, I don't know, someone that knows you, they know your life story, you know, but probably if they are in front of you and you are telling it again and probably adding a few details, and they look at you like, I heard the story before. I think that that's the worst thing that you can say to a Mars in Leo. Like, I heard that before, you know, like, but they do get it a lot, yes, because for them it's like, they love to talk about their accomplishments, yes, they love to talk about themselves, and they get very annoyed when you don't pay attention to them. Definitely, if you want to like break up with the Mars, with the Mars in Leo person, and you want to get them angry, just don't pay attention to them. Like, don't respond to them. Like, don't give likes to their pictures, and they will definitely know that it's over, because they need the recognition. They need to be seen. So if you are like very detached and cold, no, you're not for them. And they get really triggered by that. Okay, guys, let's move on to Taeyeon. Taeyeon, the leader, is a Mars in Virgo. Yes, Mars in Virgo. So Mars in Virgo, we have this. So we know we have a lot of, actually, we have talked about Mars in Virgo, and actually Mars is not, the energy of Mars is not comfortable in Virgo, anyways, because Virgo, it's an energy that you see her, she's all white, she's all beautiful or ordered, she's clean, she is very immaculate, she's a goddess, there's this sense of yes. So actually, what Mars is not comfortable in Virgo energy, because Virgo is very picky. Virgo, it's very analytical. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so these energies don't match, actually, especially when it comes to expressing aggression. And actually, they get a bit like, like they can get like nervous. But yes, actually, instead of getting aggression or getting like action, they get nervous. It affects their nervous system. They get really nervous. They actually get a bit paranoid, in the sense that they are looking for perfection. This Mars is aiming for perfection. So everything they do, how they go after what they want, they go after perfection. Perfection in themselves and perfection on you. So if you are probably not perfect, and if you are lazy, or if you don't want to improve yourself, they are going to attack you. They are going to find a way to actually point out your defects or things that you should work on. So they get like that. They get a bit obsessive. Oh, you didn't do this right. And actually, Virgo critical side, actually, it's very necessary, because Virgo criticism, actually, what they do is that what actually triggers a Mars in Virgo is for you to have the potential to be better and not being able to see it, or not doing something about it. Because Virgo is very rational. So a Mars in Virgo is all about being better and being perfect. So if they do something, they will not do it just to please a few people. They will do it in the fullest potential, and they will try to make it perfect. Because for them, there's no other way of doing things. If they work on something, they are going to do it perfectly. So this is his way, and probably if he gets, it's not good at all. We all need to go. Oh, thank you for being here, Rim. Go. Good night. Get some rest. I kind of like Virgos. It's nice having someone so honest to the point. Yes. Hi, May. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's just that Mars in Virgo is a bit hard for the person when they have this energy. It's a bit hard for them, because there's a sense that nothing. They are not able to relax. They are always thinking about new ways to be better, to be perfect. So, Taeyong, NCT Taeyong, the leader. Most people don't have lazy minds, but it's just that they get very sensitive with the small details. So sometimes they obsessed with all things, because this is an Earth sign also. So yes, Virgo can be very flexible, very mercurial, very analytic, but this energy is Earth element. So probably they are very much looking for a sort of stability and a sort of perfection in that stability that doesn't exist. doesn't exist. And this energy is about, okay, like how can we like be more agile in our process to get a better result. So these people actually are really good at finding solutions, for example. At analyzing a situation and being like, okay, there's a problem here, there's an issue there, this is good for us, this is bad for us. They have the potential to be like their observations are always on point. And they are also very cold. They are very cold. They are very like concentrated on getting perfection. So they don't measure themselves but they also are very harsh on themselves when it comes to perfection. Probably a Mars in Virgo, if you ask them about, oh, like you did this project, like how do you feel about that? And they are like, oh, I didn't like it. I think that I should have done better, and I will do better next time, and I will work to do this better. Like, actually, like before I did this, I was very nervous, I was very anxious, I didn't feel like, I feel like I should. They always are thinking about how they should have done things better. So, there's no like connecting with just being satisfied with what you have, and not always being aiming at a sort of perfection that is just an illusion. The perfection is also this need in us to have some kind of control over what's going on with us. Sometimes we are enough and we give what we have available. But for them, it's like, no, 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 I'm not going to do this unless this is perfect. So sometimes this does affect their health and their mental health because of how pressure they put on themselves. But you definitely, since I'll tell you, it doesn't rule like physical appearance, but it does rule like the body language. So maybe if they are angry about something, or if they feel like frustrated about something, that anger is going to be like expressed through having this sort of OCD, or being a bit obsessive over small details, like being very nervous, being very paranoid, being always on alarm mode, like, oh, like beating themselves up. They get really critical, and they get critical with people around them, not just them. They tend to criticize people around them as well. Yes. But that's how people trick you sometimes, because since they know that you are going to offer yourself to do it yourself, they sometimes are lazy like on purpose. They sometimes are like, oh, I'm going to pretend like I don't know how to do this, so this person will come and do it for themselves. So you should like pay attention to that. Yes, he doesn't live until it's perfect. Yes. Yes, they take time, spirit. Because Virgo is very like um is very like keen to help others, so people take advantage of hospitality. Okay, let's move on to Utah. Utah, Mars in Sagittarius, and Kihyun, it's also a Mars in Sagittarius. So yes, Mars in Sagittarius here. Mars in Sagittarius. I love this picture. Mars in Sagittarius. So yes, yes. Actually, that Mars in Sagittarius makes him free, and also, well, Kihyun also is a Scorpio, Monsta ex Kihyun. So what they both have in common is that they are on the horse. They are already aiming at the horizon, at the sky. So they are always looking for the next best trip or journey, especially if it's spiritual. You know, Mars in Sagittarius, like, it doesn't matter if you have a stellium in Scorpio, because actually Scorpio, like, you know, holds on really tight to things, people, situations. But somehow when you have Mars in Sagittarius, it's more about you, like, being a bit more adventurous, and also like being ready to go to look for new adventures, like to look for novelty, you know, to look for new things, new experiences to live. So yes, this is actually a very inspiring. Actually, a lot of people with this placement, they love to travel. They love to travel. They have a very, they're very smart at the same time, but they love to meet people of different cultures, countries, regions. They are very open-minded, and actually their whole life they tend to be these people that they tend to have, like, their destiny seems to be somewhere else from where they were born. You know, like, for example, oh yes, I was born here, but I move out, or my parents immigrated to another country, or I immigrated to another country. So they actually, Mars in Sagittarius, they often have their destiny or their dream job, or they meet their special someone, like on a trip or overseas. You know, there's something about looking at the horizon and like expanding that horizon, you know. So probably this is how does Mars in Sagittarius tend to be unfaithful or play boys girls. um Actually, I think that I would add that, probably that attribute to a Venus in Sagittarius, because they need to somehow have some the freedom to move around, you know. And this actually, like, you know, it's about like, okay, going through adventures with different people. But probably a Mars in Sagittarius is going to be someone that they can have long-term partners with a special someone, but they need that person to be very adaptable and to also be ready to also go on different trips, and to also be used to probably living in different countries, you know, like moving around a lot. Probably Sagittarius placements, they tend to get bored when they are in the same place. So if they have a partner, they tend to, you know, want to move and have the freedom to move, you know. And it's like, okay, maybe if your partner cannot come with you, or they cannot travel with you, they will do it, but they will go by themselves. But yes, there's something about, you know, Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. They are passionate. They are very also, they follow their feelings, their guts. They are very spontaneous. They are very playful. So yes, there could be like a tendency to actually like go into another country and having fun with different people, and I don't know, they then coming back home and having I don't know, wife and children somewhere, you know, because somehow they need to like connect with their uh, like with their adventurous side, you know. They have the need for movement, you know. And this is something that probably this is why for them to actually take a commitment and actually being like, okay, I'm staying with this person, for them it's very important to actually being able to like start a relationship with someone that somehow understands that they have their moments where they just want to evade themselves, and that they somehow probably, I don't know, one day they wake up and they are like living in another country, or they left for a road trip, or they left and they decided that they want to try a better luck, like working overseas. These are very spontaneous people that, especially when they feel like under a lot of stress, or probably when they are angry about something, since we're talking about Mars here, you know, how do you express anger? Where Sagittarius, it's all about like, this is why they are in this horse. You know, it's like, okay, I can attack you, with force. I can be passionate, I can be blunt, I can hurt you with my body. But at the same time, I also have the ability to get away from the drama, like to be a bit of an escapist. You know, so if there's something wrong, I will probably like take a flight to somewhere and I will disappear. Or I will move out. You know, if I have an argument with someone, I will grab my things and I will go to live somewhere else. You know, like they tend to be very spontaneous and a bit like when they get, especially when they get upset, they are very evasive. You know, they are like, okay, like I don't know, I want to do my own thing, and you know, and instead of facing the problems or the conflict, they tend to go somewhere, but go. So they are unpredictable in that sense, yes. A lot of evasion. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Do-young, Mars in Aquarius. And also Monsta X IM, Mars in Aquarius as well. They both have Mars in Aquarius. So this, the Harlequin. Mars in Aquarius. Mars in Aquarius, it's more like the unexpected. The unexpected. How am I going to show my passion? How I'm going to show my assertiveness? How I'm going to show my competitiveness, my courage, my desires, you know, my drive? How I'm going to express this? By being unexpected and by being very, I don't want to say weird, but there's something about them like being like, what's going on, you know, like, who are you, you know, like being very like different layers to themselves, like you're like, why are you behaving like this, you know, like behaving almost like a crazy person, you know, like and you cannot like think like about like, okay, you know, like, this is how you're going to fight, being very weird. like Taeyong has a Aquarius Mars, yes. Mars is Aquarius is really pretty pleased because this is coming from an Aquarius. Yes, but not just original. It's more about like leaving you with the sense of like, I don't know who I'm fighting here. You know, like you probably, I don't know, if you're someone that you are observing them, you know, and you are like, okay, I'm having an argument with the Mars in Aquarius person. And I want to know, yes, and I want to know how they're going to go after me. And if you're going to attack me, and I'm going to be very weird about it. They're going to be very misleading, you know, like, what are you doing? Like changing, like being a shifter, you know, being this sort of like crazy, unexpected person that somehow is very scary, actually. It's very scary if you think about this. Actually, I'm afraid of clowns, so this is like very creepy for me. But if you think about how do you show aggression, it's being unexpected, it's being everything and nothing at the same time, you know. So probably, yes, they make you look crazy, yes, because you cannot like be like okay, maybe this person is going to go after me like this. No, they will probably act in a very weird way and they will change character in a second. Like they will not stay mad for long because here Mars in Aquarius actually is not revenge, it's not vengeful. They do not tend to hold a grudge. But yes, if we think about Do-young, you know, this is something that I noticed. Because actually Aquarius also is not comfortable in Mars. You know, because Aquarius, it's all about, you know, bringing electricity, you know, it's all about like creating something new, something that has never been seen before, you know, So if you put this in the art of war, of being a warrior, like, yes, you can be a sort of like distractor, like you distract people or you distract your opponent. When people think that you are going to go after that dream or that goal, you actually decide for the opposite. You decide for the other thing. You decide for you don't decide for what's expected from you. You take the very non-traditional way, you know. And actually this, like Mars in Aquarius, just like any Aquarius placement, they have the ability to be like having this energy that is a mix of masculine and feminine. So you don't know which one you're going to get. If they're going to be masculine, because we know that Mars is a masculine energy, but they can also go at it like being feminine, like being both, being nothing and being all at the same time. So very confusing, very confusing. And yes, if we think about Doyoung and I am, Doyoung and I am, they are both Aquarius' sun as well. So that means that probably their Mars also affects or is in conjunction with their sun. So there's also an element of Aries energy, because it does touch the sun, that the sun is the identity. So there's a bit of actually when they get upset, probably you can see it in them. There's a sense of like, oh yes, if I get upset about something, you will see it on my face, or you will see it when I'm on camera. Like there's something about them like actually being like very very nervous, because yes, they are Aquariuses, but actually their Mars is very close to their Sun. So there's something about them being a bit like influenced by Mars as well when it comes to their identity. Like probably being these sort of people that they don't have much patience with. Like they want to do everything right now, probably being very erratic if they don't get things done quickly, or when they get upset at someone for being, I don't know, too indecisive. There's something about them not having much patience, neither with themselves or with others, you know. Okay, let's move on to Jaehyun. Jaehyun, it's a Mars in Libra. And who else is a Mars in Libra? And no one. No one in Monsta X is a Mars in Libra. But Jaehyun, it's a Mars in Libra. So yes, Mars in Libra also. Libra, not this one. Libra is Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. So definitely when you are Mars in Libra, you have troubles like expressing your anger. So when you are flirt their way out of conflicts, exactly, yes. And they usually like they associate with people of power, they use their flirt to get things, yes. Yes, and they can be very passive aggressive, because there's something about Libra that Libra needs to learn from their opposite sign, that it's Aries. And Aries is like, come on, like be more assertive, be passionate, like don't think about the others, think about how you feel, like be honest to yourself. And Libra is like, no, I want to please people, like I was born to please. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I want to be mesmerizing. I want to be seductive. So yes, I remember someone talking about how he knows how to get you. This might be why. I remember someone talking about how he knows how to get you this. Ah, yes. Subin is a Mars in Libra. It's just that Jaehyun has a lot of Venusian energy. This is something that, I mentioned this It's no coincidence that he was born on Valentine's Day. His moon is in Taurus and his Mars is in Libra. So definitely he will use his charms to get what he wants. Yes, and he will do it and he will feel really, really comfortable doing it. You know, like I mentioned when I talked about Mars in Taurus, they are just comfortable. There's no desire for them to actually have arguments, to fight. They rather like win things by being pleasant, by being polite, by being attractive, by like being great hostess or hosts, being giving, inspiring people to fall for them, and at the same time there's also manipulation because we're talking about Mars here. So definitely, probably Mars in Libra, sometimes they make their opponent lose patience because somehow like there's something very like annoying about, you want them to be aggressive with you, and probably you want them to tell you to your face how they feel about you, and they will be like always like very nice, they will say the right things, they will have a great speech about how violence is not, is not the answer, and how we should all respect one another, and you're like, like there's something like really smart. Of course, it's a smart move, but it's very annoying at the same time because you're like, yes, we know that you don't like that person, like, but why can you not, pronounce to recognize anger as a part of yourself, that you're not always this flawless, that you're not always that loving, that sometimes you do get upset, you do get angry, and that you are actually very aggressive with others. It's just that you do it with a smile on your face and you call it like, oh no, I'm not violent, like I am against violence. But you being passive aggressive definitely is being, or staying in situations or connections that actually don't do you any good, like, that's terrible how you want to be like, you cute today and then prove the person they're arguing with not mad. Yes, it works. It definitely works because their charms actually help them get what they want. It definitely works, yes. And this is why when you are arguing with the Mars in Libra, like, don't argue with them because they will always like make sure that they will look like the victim, because they are not showing their violence, this anger that they have inside. They're not going to show it. They're going to show you pretty things. They're going to distract you. So they are very manipulative as them. So then you have to be diplomatic. Arguing fake? Yes, yes. It's just that this causes troubles for them, actually. This causes trouble for them because this is something that happens to a lot of actually Libra people, that they probably hold a grudge or they had been angry at something the whole life and they never were able to say that, like to say that, oh yes, I'm angry at you, or I don't like you, like they are always thinking about how the others are going to take it. So they don't think about themselves, they think about the others. Yes, so it's a lot of it seems like you're like covering yourself a lot to make people believe that you are okay, but actually inside probably you are like holding a lot of things, so, but yes, obviously being diplomatic is the best way. Yes, it's the best way. It's just that probably when you are the owner of that that energy, you think that what you're doing is correct, but maybe for the person in front of you, they are like, oh, I don't like it that you are passive aggressive, because it's like, they want to say something to you and that they want to confront you, but they don't do it to keep appearances. yes, when someone is like this, like, oh, everything's okay, I'm not angry, I'm not angry, I'm not angry, you know. And you know, it's like, this is why they probably like think about, like, okay, the anger will come at me, maybe my significant other will be angry at me, you know. There's someone always gets angry at Libra or Libra placements, you know, because somehow they are showing Libra that you need to embrace anger, that it's okay to be angry, to be blunt, to be even horrendous, you know, to be very aggressive. That sometimes it's okay, that there's no need for you to be like this all the time. You know, that's because some people do deserve your anger, or maybe some people do deserve for you to tell them like how you really feel. You know, some people sometimes, especially when it comes at a moment in your life where you are like, oh, maybe this is teaching me that I need to put boundaries. You know, that these people are considering me that I am weak, so they are not like, you know, nah, me being angry has consequences. I gotta stop myself. Yes, yes, yes. It's like there's no, like, this is why Aries and Libra are both. You see this is like Venus and Mars. You know, for example, like this. Libra is Venus, is represented by Venus, and Aries is Aries, that is their opposite, is represented by Mars. So obviously here there's a lot of learning to do about angry, about being angry, about being assertive, about being a conqueror, about, you know, how do you go after what you want? They definitely go after what they want with diplomacy, of course. But it's like, what about your instinctive needs? You know, what about when you don't feel, because Mars is very like fiery, you know, so you do need um, to use it. Okay, Mark has Mars in Scorpio. Mark. And Minhyuk. Minhyuk, Monsta X Minhyuk also has a Mars in Scorpio. So this is for them. Yes. Also, Mars rules a part of Scorpio. So definitely Scorpio Mars is very well placed here. You know, it's the magician. You see how he's controlling everything? You see how he has all his powers, all his recipes, all his resources. He mixes a lot of, like, you know, a lot of, yes. And Mark as well. Mark, it's very, like, they are very, like, they exude this sort of, like, look at this. Look. They are very masculine. It means that, this is why I always tell people that, you know, Mark has a lot of fire element, you know, in his chart. But he also has Mars in Scorpio. So I always tell people with Mars in Scorpio, because 80s Mingy also has it. BTS JK also has it. So, you know, this is when you think that they will be defeated, or, you know, when you are worried about them, like being able to survive something or to overcome something, they will always do it. They have the resources. They have a sort of magic inside of them. They know how to use their body. They have a lot of willpower. They have a lot of willpower, a lot of magnetism, and also being aggressive, being assertive, being sexual, being like attractive, being mysterious, being intense, being intensity. They bring intensity into everything that they put their minds into. So, they take their time because they study the whole situation, to be like, okay, like, oh, and we're going to do this, but at the same time, they are very powerful. There's something about Mars in Scorpio that generally it's not shown. It's not. And Mars in Scorpio, they actually are these kind of people that probably they tend to look a bit like reserved. Like you probably are like, oh, he seems fragile, or there's something about him that feels, I don't know, cute or naive. And somehow you know that he has Mars in Scorpio, and you are like, oh, so when you go after something that you want, and first they have to decide if they want it. They don't put their attention or their willpower on just anything. Like they select what they want to win. They select their battles. They are not as spontaneous or as crazy for action like Aries. There's a bit more of dominion of the passions. Like, yes, because I know I'm intense, because I know I am very passionate, that's why I control myself. I control my energies. So, so I don't end up like destroying myself. But definitely they are always like, they are ready for competition. Like, if you, that's why I always say they generally also are very healthy. They have very healthy bodies. They endure a lot. Their bodies endure a lot. Like they can work hours and hours and hours with their bodies. They can transform their bodies as well. Their body frame, especially. This is why they love to work out, because they're always in transformation. They always, it depends on what state in their life they are, but they're always changing. And as they change, you are going to see a side of them that you never seen before. And you're like, wow, like I didn't know that you had all that potential hidden in you like that, but they do have it. They do have it. It's just that they they somehow plot. They are the masters of really like taking their time to create a plan to be successful. They don't act or react right away. They observe the situation and then they go after that. They are very like strategic in that sense. To be creepy but entertaining. Minkyu gave up after going to the gym once. He's been the only one who has worked out in a group of monsters. Yes, but this is what I was saying, guys. Like, they are a bit of a rebels. Maybe you think that, maybe you have that perception of him, and you are like, oh yes, Minkyu doesn't work out. He doesn't like to go to the gym. No, he doesn't like it. No, he usually, it's not his thing. And maybe one day he wakes up and he's like, I'm going to start working out. And I'm going to show you my new body. They love to surprise people. This is why they are represented by the magician. They love to surprise people. They love to. When you think that you know them, when you think that you had figured them out, they actually show you what they are all about. And they love to prove people wrong. I think that the best way for you to actually like provoke a Mars in Scorpio is to tell them that they cannot achieve a certain thing. To tell them like, oh no, you cannot do that. Like, I'm sure you cannot do that. Like, that's not for you. And Mars in Aries as well. If you tell them not to do something, they will do it just to prove you wrong. Yes. But yes, they just, like, they are the magicians. So yes, there's this sense of a lot of power, a lot of power. So yes, guys. And then the last one, we have Hechan. That Hechan is Venus and Mars in Gemini, and also his sun is in Gemini, so a lot of probably stellium of Gemini energy. So how does he battles people? He definitely with his intellect. So he is relentless with words, definitely. He's someone that, he's always thinking, he's always communicating. So probably if he gets angry or if he gets upset, probably he's going to talk and talk and talk, and like they cannot keep a secret to themselves because, for example, if he's passionate about something, he's going to want to talk about it. He's going to want to share it with you, to let you know, like, oh, look, I have an idea, and this, and I know this, and I learned this, and like sort of like they always are communicating. They never shut up. They never shut up. They're always like, and also, this is why it's in the sign of Mars. There's a sense also of like a defense mechanism in communication, because probably if he feels like attacked by someone, or if he feels like someone is being mean to them, he would probably like start talking, or like sending messages, or actually like creating a funny story to make up of to like actually to make fun of someone. Gemini's placements are dangerous when they are upset because they love to gossip. So, sometimes when they are upset about something, a situation, or a person, they tend to be a bit gossipy, or they tend to talk too much about certain persons, like, so they can be like potentially like hedgehog. They can be dangerous with the amount of communication and the amount of words and information that they have, or actually their ability to dig deeper into your information and actually find something online, for example, or to write something online. So, like I always tell people, like, Gemini, it's all about, like, this is why you have the twins, because you never know which way they're going to go. So you better have them as your friend, because as enemies, they are relentless. They are relentless. They are going to attack you, do some karate, some like kickboxing with words, and you're not going to be able to stop them. So be careful with an angry hedgehog. I don't know much about hedgehog. I know who he is, but I haven't had like a moment to observe him. But I'm sure that when he feels like, a bit like you are offending him or somehow, he gets really like verboratic. He starts talking and talking and talking and talking, and probably like being a bit witty and sassy and ironic with how he communicates with you. So he shows his aggressions through words. So yes, it's dangerous, especially in these moments where we have internet. He could potentially like be a sort of like internet troll or something like that. So you better be friends with Hechan. You better be friends, because he sure have the information. He sure has it, and he has a great memory. He has a great memory, so you cannot beat him. You cannot beat him, definitely. Oh yes, they won't shut up. Yes, no, no, no. They won't shut up. Yes, and they always. You know what I notice about them? Um, yes, but that's his moon in Leo in there. Well, it's a combination of him being a Gemini and a moon in Leo. He loves to watch himself. Yes, or probably to Google things about himself. So yes, but I noticed that Gemini placements, they tend to make people very anxious, so they really hold on really tight to every little opinion that you can express about them. So if somehow you said a certain phrase that they didn't like, there was something in the communication that they didn't like, or they will, your name will be named a lot of times. You know, you will be summed in a conversation for a lot of times. And yes, he uses very harsh words with me, because you can tell them to be, no, you can tell them to be less chaotic, because then they will start talking about you. So you don't have, just, Mark couldn't stand Hechan at the point he almost left the company. It's just that Hechan has a lot of energy, and he's also he's like always wants to be pendant, like he's very energetic person. Um, yes, it's just that sometimes Gemini, this is what I was telling you. Like somehow it seems like words and communication and information, it's a way of them to shield their own insecurities. So sometimes for them to connect with what really goes on with them, or actually to do some self-reflection, to be like, oh, maybe I've done this wrong, or maybe, of course, like not all Gemini, I want to clarify this because I love Geminis. This is not for, we are talking about the placement in Gemini, because I noticed this about Moon in Gemini as well, that they have a hard time like reflecting. They just know that you said something that they didn't like, and they start like verbalizing like blah 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 blah, blah. And maybe if you stop them and you're like, okay, like, but don't you think that maybe you somehow enable this situation? They are like, no, they don't want you to help them to connect with what is going on with them, why they have this need to always be talking. Like they always have a subject of conversation. They always have a story about something that happened during the day. Like something always has to happen, and they need to talk about it. That's why sometimes they talk about other people, because they run out of stories about themselves, so they talk about other people. I look at the way God sent Hechan to Mark for Mark to learn patience. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Just that Hechan is a very sweet guy, but you have to understand that Mercury energy, just like in Virgo, Virgo can be pretty critical as well. Virgo placements can, because everyone talks about Gemini. Oh, how Gemini is so noisy, so gossipy. But Virgo also is very gossipy. Virgo also, just like because they're both ruled by Mercury. So there's a level of intelligence, and there's this level of you absorbing information really quick. But what happened with these people is that they have so much information that somehow they need to let it out. So they tend to, yes, use information for their benefit, or actually to use information to prove that they are smarter than you, or that to let you know that you don't know anything. For example, that they know about the latest technology, they know the trendy words, they read on internet. They are always like, at the top of the game when it comes to especially social media. They know everything, and they have the ability to also have a great memory. But what happens, like some of you actually uh, mentioned, there's a level of like, great, you have all this information, like you're talking about everything that you know, but somehow I'm here listening to you and observing you, and it seems like you cannot stop for a minute. Like, what's going on with you and silence? What's going on with you and, like, stop a bit. Like, stop a bit. You know, like, what's going on with the need of always be like, oh, because I'm like, what's going on? What's behind all those words and explanations and facts? And yeah, she told me, he told me, he said this, she said this, you know, like, what's going on? Like, you know, that's something that I always work with Gemini, because Gemini and Virgos, but with Gemini the most, because they are so loving people, but they have this perception that if they don't know things, somehow they don't have a purpose. So sometimes they get into very uncomfortable situations about, you know, be gossipy about someone else's problem, and they are like, oh, I don't know why people don't like me. Maybe because you're talking about them and their personal things, you know. But they are like, oh, but I don't know if I'm always this nice and I did this and I send them a message and I apologize, but are you connecting? Are you taking a moment to relax? Like, you know, there's this sort of exercise that we need to do with these people, that their energy is so high, it must be really hard to be a mercurial person, you know, to have all this information, to have all this need to absorb more and more and more and more, and lose yourself in that knowledge or random facts or data, call it wherever you want to. But where is the human? Where is the person behind all that? You know, this is why sometimes the way they cope with anxiety and with sadness and with feeling lost is like, oh, okay, I'm good at absorbing information. I'm good at learning new things. So what am I going to do? I'm good at making jokes, so I'm going to make jokes all the time. And I'm going to be the smartest. You know, like, but there's this, you know, this need to what's going on with silence, you know, what's going on inside of you. Mark is very judgy, so I can understand why he can stand. That people have with Virgos is that they are critical and don't think. Yes, I have. Yes. Well, you can help. You can only help someone who wants to help themselves. Yes, but it's just that, you know, this is why some people. This is why I always am like, when I hear someone like talking nonstop, I'm like, oh, I get it. You must be a Gemini, or you must be a Moon Gemini. But I'm like, I'm always interested into like, come on, you don't need to tell me everything. Like, I believe you. You know, like, you are enough. Like, I like you. Like, I can hang out with you. We can talk. I love to talk. You know, we've been here for 2 hours, so, you know, I have Venus and Mars in the first house. So, you know, for me, Gemini energy is is not, is something that I know, I feel. But I also I noticed that whenever I'm anxious, I start talking nonstop, and like, and you know, sometimes people are like, you know, like, you're a stranger, like, why are you talking to me? Yes, guys, I'm going to go as well because I have to eat. You know, it was really nice talking to you all. And I hope that you enjoyed this small and brief live about Mars in the signs for NCT and some Monsta X members. Of course, that the one that was left out was Hyungwon, that he is a Mars in Capricorn. So, you know, I think I mentioned the other day, Mars in Capricorn, it's about you like being like climbing the ladder and being the best. You somehow like being, Mars in Capricorn also feels very comfortable, because Capricorn, it's all about achieving things, about like climbing the mountain and to be at the first place, like always like being better, always like going for a next goal. So when you are a Mars in Capricorn, you tend to always like divide your energy or your desire in like going to the next step. Like there's always has to be like something new to conquer, a new mountain to climb somehow. Like they are very competitive, very cold, very detached. Maybe sometimes Mars in Capricorn, they tend to surprise you, because you're like, oh, but he looks so calm, or he looks so like, oh, I didn't know he was like that. Once they have a goal in mind, you will not stop them. They are going to show you the Mars energy. Could you speak a bit about Mars in Cancer? Mars in Cancer, it's all another placement that is not comfortable in Mars. It's not comfortable in Mars, because Mars is action, and Cancer is about being loving and being nurturing. So when you are required to be assertive, or to be a sort of warrior and to defend themselves, you actually get a bit on the defensive, a bit resistant to battle. Somehow like, yes, you go to battle, but maybe your tactics to show that aggressiveness is going to be about being passive aggressive. Yes, about like, okay, I was being nurturing to you, like I gave you this, I gave you my love, so now that I am angry at you, I'm going to take the love away. That's something that a lot of Cancer do. They retreat. Instead of going to the battle and going out and going after their goals, they retreat. They doubt themselves. They also don't like the aggressiveness. So maybe, probably Mars in Cancer is the sort of person that, to avoid conflict, they could disappear of your life. They could like, like sort of like end like relationships or end connections without never telling you what happened. you know yes, I also wrote down that he's a Mars in Cancer. Yes, there's this sense, but him all and also a lot of BTS members have, maybe because they are all from the same age probably. I think that the Hume line has Mars in Cancer. RM, Jungi, and Jin, the three of them share Mars in Cancer as well. So there's this sense of like, uh, like I don't show you, I can be angry, but I'm not going to show you like publicly, like in public. This is why I always tell you guys that about BTS. You know that BTS, it's a sign that they do have in common that I think that they all have a water Mars, and the only one that don't have it is Taeyong has Mars in Capricorn, but actually his Mars in Capricorn is what makes him really good at, being cold and just getting the job done. Actually his best attack to you is working. So actually the way he's going to attack you is to show you that he's very self-efficient. So he's not also like, he can potentially like put people in their places because he's a moon in Aries. But at the same time, I think that a lot of BTS members have this Mars in Cancer, especially the older ones. So I think that they influence a lot about how to respond to situations where they had conflict with people. This is why, or probably when army has like a sort of like problem with someone, this is why they are great at what they do. They never like confirm nor deny any kind of arguments or any kind of like conflicts that can appear that it has to do or is related to the group. You know, they don't address it directly. They stay in their shell. They stay in their shell and they wait for the storm to be over. Of course, like I always tell you, Mars in Cancer is very passive aggressive. So yes, they may not go publicly at you and be like, "Oh, you did this to me, so I'm." No, they can act like they moved on, like they are not, they don't hold anything like against you. But at some point, they can show a bit of, you know, like letting you know that they remember what you did to them, you know, somehow with a little bit of like a comment here and there, you know, because Cancer also, it's about memories. It's about, yes, like not letting go sometimes of things, especially when they feel hurt in their feelings. And they also think a lot about the past. So maybe if you said something to them, maybe you're like, oh, but that happened years ago. No, they remember it. They remember it, and they are going to bring it out, like bring it up, like the least in the moment, in the most unexpected moment. You know, this is something that the Mars in Cancer does. Yes, they don't. But they just act like there's the conflict is not there. You know, they act like the conflict is not there. Fun words and all, they don't know. Okay, like if y'all just don't make a decision, folks are losing their minds. You did for Shani. Thank you for. Oh, you're welcome, Hope. So yes, in the case of Wono, I think that it's like that. You know, probably Wono it's also yes, like I always tell you guys, like water placements can be like a box full of surprises. Like you should never like underestimate like the power of flexibility and change that a water sign can bring to a planet. So you know, maybe people are like, oh yes, but you know, these are stronger, or these have like a more like a fiery attitude. Yes, but the water also, with a lot of patience and a lot of work and a lot of changes, they can also like hurt you, you know. And I think that in the case of Wono, probably what it shows is that he's very loyal to his roots. So probably this is why he's still in touch with the rest of the members, because there's this sense of him being, yes, him being in another path in his profession, but somehow he doesn't forget where he comes from, you know, his roots, the people that grew up with him, you know, the people that nurture him, and also the fans. There's also probably the fans also feel like a very strong attachment to him, because he does represent the past. You know, he does represent that. Probably a lot of fans, like until this day, they include him in the, even though he's not part of Monsta X anymore. I noticed that because I actually, the first time I read for Monsta X, there were a lot of Monbebes that they were like, oh, but you didn't include Wono or Wonho. I don't remember how it's pronounced. You didn't include him in the dynamics reading. And I was like, no, I didn't include him because from what I understood, he's not part of the group right now. And they were like, oh, but I think that, and then I think that I done a reading about him and the members. But you know, there's something also about the fans probably like still thinking about him as a member of Monsta X. And I totally like I understand it. Like I think that there's an emotional attachment there. So, and I'm not part of the community of the fandom, so I don't have a say in here. But when I read for them, and I said I read for Monsta X, I have to read for the members that are active in Monsta X, you know, because Wonho or Wono is an individual. It's an individual artist right now. So you know, it would be like disrespectful to be like, oh, he's part of Monsta X, when actually the guys are like doing the work, all them, like, you know. Yes, yes, but this is something that probably he doesn't forget, and the fans don't forget. There's this sense of like going to the past, the past where things were like better somehow. I don't blame them because he was there for a while. Like, he wasn't there for just 1 or 2 years. Yes, yes, yes. It's just that if I have to read for their potential energy today, I have to read for the members that are part of Monsta X. Yes. He's a guy who has been through a lot. That's the bond. Yes, definitely. Definitely. They have great energy. They have great energy. Actually, there's not like one, the only, I think that I only read for one idol that their, one or two, that their energy was awful. But the rest of them, they are all, like I always say, they are all working day by day, guys, to be the best version, because entertainment industry is also very subject to change. So one day you're popular and the next day you don't know. So, they are always working, they are always like putting the effort. So, it's a lot of competitiveness also in them. I do think they do have to let him go and accept that he's an individual. It's just that I think that he doesn't mind. This is why I think that that's why I learned, about that, because I didn't know. At first I was like, oh, why are these people like asking him if he's not? But then when I heard their story, and when I also saw a lot of evidence of them having a relationship outside of work, and that there's this, like them talking about each other, even though they're not allowed, a lot of things that, like I always tell you, relationships take effort, and I definitely think that these guys put the effort into wishing each other well, and I think that that's how I was like, okay, I understand that this bond is a healthy one. It's not the Lulu people wanting to keep a sort of like image of something that broke a long time ago and is gone. Yeah, most of them are very nice people in bad circumstances. Exactly. It's also how he left us gas fans. Yes, yes. But he's very grateful. He's a very humble guy at the same time. So this is why I tell you, maybe you look at him, or people that look at him for his body and stuff, they think that he's like really strong and very into himself. But actually, he's like a sweet teddy bear. He's very sweet. He's very like the kind of person that he's very home-like. He's very affectionate. He's very like emotional. He's very like sweet, like cute, very cute, very loving, very warm. So yes, guys, I'm going to finish this here, but I appreciate that you're here listening to me a Saturday night. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. And yes, I will see you during the weeks. I will try to upload new videos. So yes, guys, have a great start of the week and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.